So it's the $1 million question, what is currently the best Pokemon investment? Now, before I answer that, in today's video, I am gifting this PSA 9 Pikachu card. Now, if I reply to your comment with this specific Milotic emoji, then well done, you have won the gift. And also, if this is your first time tuning in, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. This channel focuses on Pokemon investing and collecting. Now, regarding the best Pokemon investment, there are a few key critical areas to consider. And the first area that must be understood is that picking Pokemon sets and investments is not luck. There is a method to the madness, and it usually follows to look out for three major elements, which are the roster of the Pokemon in the set, the pull rate difficulty, and the general demand of the set. By using this formula, you can actually make some future forecasting for a set's success before it rises. There are other areas that also need to be focused on, which I will uncover throughout this video. However, to get onto the list, I am sitting at the 10th spot for the best Pokemon investment at the moment, which is Pokemon 151. Now you may be thinking, wait, what? Pokemon 151 is the best set currently. Why have you got this placed in the 10th position? Well, even though the set will likely grow, there's an important lesson to be understood relating to the unique timing of when to buy Pokemon investments. And right now, 151 is slightly out of cycle. This doesn't mean it won't rise in the future, but the purchase for 151 should have been months ago when you could have snagged it for under retail price and gotten a good deal on it. Right now, Pokemon 151 is in a very difficult position. There may be a reprint that can, tumble prices down, and if there is no reprint, then the sky's the limit, right? However, it does feel way too similar to gambling at the moment. If you buy it now and there's no reprint, well, then you're looking at a pretty good future. Or if you overpay now and then a heavy reprint happens, and then, it just feels like you're taking 2 steps forward and then 4 steps back. Look, guys, let's be honest. A reprint is very likely because, the Japanese 151 had a reprint, and it wouldn't really make sense for the English set to be deprived of this, right? However, at the same time, that doesn't really mean anything either. You know what I mean? Like, while a reprint is likely, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's set in stone either. So Pokemon 151 is a great set. It's one of the most iconic sets of all time. And in fact, it did make a spot in the video I made speaking about the top 10 greatest Pokemon sets of all time. So, you can watch that video right here because I really do rate Pokemon 151. However, the key with Pokemon investing is buying at the right time. And when you consider seller fees and costs, the right time to buy Pokemon 151 was months ago. Though the 151 rise in price is really not surprising to anyone who has been involved in this hobby for a long time. Pokemon 151 was always destined to rise. It had too many positive signs pointing towards success from the get-go. Though it would be further down the list if it was a little bit better on the pricing. However, it's still a great buy. Now, moving on to number 9, it is the 2 Gardevoir illustration rares. These 2 Gardevoir illustration rares are sensational, though there are a few reasons why I like these as investments. So number 1, they are both considered some of their highest chase cards in their respective sets. Firstly, the Gardevoir special illustration rare from Scarlet and Violet base is like in the top 5 chase cards of that set, and the shiny Gardevoir from Paldean Fates is a top 3 chase card from that set. More so, Gardevoir is an actual fan favorite, and I'm not just going through a general instinct, right? This is actually voted by a community poll in Reddit. So Reddit did a survey asking what everyone's favorite Pokemon was, and the votes came in with thousands upon thousands of people voting. Though I think this is actually one of the biggest surveys for seeking a cohort's opinion on their favorite Pokemon. Well, guess what? Gardevoir came in the top 10, and this just shows how desired it is as a Pokemon. Whenever a Pokemon has such an enormous fan base, it's always a great sign for an investment as the fan base is naturally there. I spoke in a previous video relating to the waifu Pokemon crash. However, a key lesson from that video is that genuine fan bases are the key for successful choices for Pokemon singles. Now, moving on to number 8, it is battle styles. Now, I want to be pretty clear here, right? And this is just my very, very honest opinion. I personally think battle styles is a weak set. I do. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend it's something that it's not, right? And overall, I think it's got the weakest alternate art roster in the Sword and Shield era. Though, that's my collector side talking. However, my investor's brain understands that this set will likely rise. Firstly, this set is the first set to introduce alternate arts in the Sword and Shield era, so there's a little bit of history with the set, right? Second, it does contain the fantastic Urshifu alternate art, which is an amazing card artwork, and finally, it still is a Sword and Shield set. No matter how much we want to avoid it, Sword and Shield is iconic, and every set within the Sword and Shield era will become iconic. So while this set is still relatively affordable, it's a great buy because within 2 to 3 years, these Sword and Shield sets will likely be highly desired and missed by many because it's just a natural rotation, right? Now, moving on to number 7, it is Japanese 151. Yes, the Japanese variation of Pokemon 151 is one to look out for. There's a few reasons for this. However, before I actually dive deep into why Japanese 151 is such a great product, it's a good time to talk about the sponsor for today's video, which is Bai. I know many of you collect Japanese cards and products, and this is where Bai comes in. By using Bai, you can literally buy anything in Japan. You can buy from Amazon Japan, you can buy from Yahoo Japan Shopping, Yahoo Japan Auction, and many others. Now, what's incredible is that you can literally use specific keywords inside Bai to search what you're looking for, you know, like Pokemon Booster Box. Or you can even search specific Japanese Pokemon sets, such as Japanese Pokemon 151. Bai then covers the purchasing process. Bai buys the products from Japanese stores, and the item is shipped to Bai's warehouse, and from there, it is prepared for international shipping and sent to you. So if you don't want to pay ridiculous rates for items, Bai becomes incredibly advantageous. Also, Bai ships to multiple countries and regions, including North America, Oceania, and Europe. And of course, all my channel viewers get a 10% discount for their first orders. Sign up by using the link in the description, and you can go and get some super affordable Japanese Pokemon products through Bai. However, while we're speaking about Pokemon 151, it's important to know that generally it is just a fantastic set. Though what separates the Japanese 151 and it makes it so much more enticing than the English 151 is the introduction of Master Ball Reverse Holos. Now, if you're unaware of this, right, because there's sometimes in the collector space, we can just assume that everyone knows all the details and all the intricacies of every set, right? But I really try to do my best to not assume things. So if you don't know this, Japanese 151 contains cards known as Master Ball Reverse Holos, which are unique Master Ball holo patterns on cards, and there's only one Master Ball Reverse Holo inside every Japanese 151 booster box. I mean, this is a real shame that it didn't cross over to the English set, though nonetheless, it's an amazing addition to the Japanese products, and it gives them such a unique edge. Japanese 151 is still quite easy to get at the moment, and the prices are incredibly reasonable, and it has a proven track record of already increasing in value before the crazy reprint that happened in the middle of 2024. Now, moving on to number 6, it is the early Scarlet and Violet Pokemon Center ETBs. Now, these early Pokemon Center ETBs, particularly Paldea Evolved, Scarlet and Violet Base, and Obsidian Flames, are great, but mainly because of the Pokemon Center promo cards of these early ETBs are just so good. Now, Pokemon Center promo cards are great additions. They really do add a new layer to collecting, and they add some exclusivity. Now, yes, while they are not identical to first editions, which we used to have in Pokemon, they are probably as close as we're going to get to first edition stamps in modern collecting, right? I really rate these, and I think they are sensational buys considering they are still quite affordable. Pokemon Center ETBs seem to be the hottest investments when it comes to ETB collecting specifically. In the Scarlet and Violet era, one of the best things that happened was that promo cards were introduced inside mainline ETBs, which I think is absolutely fantastic. When it comes to collectibles, having an edge is very important, and this ticks all the right boxes. Now, moving on to number 5, it is Stellar Crown. Now, yes, I actually usually prefer investing in sets later on in the release schedule, right? Still, given the crazy release schedule of sets currently with Pokemon, I think Stellar Crown seems that it is in a good position to grow because of its position in the market, right? It's just sandwiched in between such a chaotic release schedule. We've just had Shrouded Fable release, and we're also now dealing with Paradise Dragona, Surging Sparks, the new Charizard Premium Collection, the new Greninja Premium Collection, and the EV themed set. There's just so much happening, and out of all these, I still feel Stellar Crown is looking quite decent. Now, there's a few reasons for this, right? And there's actually a few areas that we need to focus on with Stellar Crown. Firstly, it seems quite unique with its box packaging and its cards, right? And secondly, the roster of cards is also very commendable. I think Stellar Crown could be quite interesting, and also depending on the demand, Pokemon may need to focus on other sets. It seems Surging Sparks and the new Eevee set will be in very high demand. So this means that Stellar Crown may not be as desired for reprints, and it could get the Astral Radiance treatment. One release and then they wipe their hands with it. Because of this, I think it's a good set to go in early. Now, moving on to number 4, it is Paldean Fates Pokemon Center ETBs. So Paldean Fates is very interesting. I think the set is highly underlooked, and even though it is a bit of a 3-horse race with the Mew, Charizard, and Gardevoir, I still think these 3 cards are enough to make the set highly desirable in the long term. Now, Paldean Fates is interesting because of the relatively good opening experience it provides. I recently opened a Paldean Fates ETB, which you can see here, and honestly, it's the kind of set which just delivers far beyond its means. The chance to hit a shiny card or a double hit in the packs is quite high, along with the fact that it's actually stacked with some pretty reasonably priced smaller cards. While the main chase cards are quite expensive, some of these lower shiny and baby shiny Pokemon really add up to the collection. However, that's mainly for the cards inside the set, though for this specific video, I am speaking about the Pokemon Center version. The Pokemon Center version is a great buy, and it also contains the incredible Mimikyu promo, which is one of the better promos within the Scarlet and Violet era. I really rate this set, and the Pokemon Center exclusives are just that little hidden nugget that give it that extra level of scarcity and the unlikely reprint schedule for Pokemon Center ETBs. So this set just seems to be a unique investment opportunity. Now, on to the third place. It is Paldea Evolved. Yes, I have spoken very highly about Paldea Evolved over the time on my channel. Though what's really odd about Paldea Evolved is how good the set was for such an early release. Historically, early sets always left a lot to be desired, and they always feel like they could have done something more. Though truthfully, Paldea Evolved actually delivers. It's got amazing artworks, and the set is already iconic in its own way. The Magikarp is sensational, the Grusha illustration rare is incredible, and the Iono are fantastic additions to the set. It is an early Scarlet and Violet set, though that doesn't take away just how great it is. Given the insane love for the set, it's very likely this will become one of the more expensive sets from the Scarlet and Violet era. Now, on to the second spot, we are sitting with Twilight Masquerade. Now, Twilight Masquerade has a lot of reasons why it's in an excellent position to become iconic in its own way. Firstly, it contains some sensational artworks, from the Ursa Luna special illustration rare to the Tatsuguri illustration rare, all the way to the Eevee illustration rare, which is one of the greatest illustration rare cards to collect at the moment. And it's very likely that this Eevee line will maybe have a continuation with its evolutions in the upcoming Eevee set. I wouldn't be surprised if they continue the theme of all these Eevees within this home environment, given the fact that they've continued themes in the Scarlet and Violet era so far. However, while these are all incredible, Twilight Masquerade does contain the Greninja special illustration rare. And here's the thing, right? It's very likely that this card will become one of the most sought out cards from the Scarlet and Violet era, and whenever there is a chase card that is this highly desired in a set, it really does help a lot with keeping the sealed extra valuable and maintaining good prices. It is a great set with amazing artworks, and also the pull rates are really bad. Now you may be thinking, doesn't that make the sealed way worse off, seeing as it's less likely to hit an expensive card? Though not so much, it actually does the opposite. Difficult pull rates seem to only help propel a set further with its success. Take a look at Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, and Chilling Reign. The difficult pull rates only help them become far more successful with their sealed products. In fact, sets with easier pull rates performed worse off than sets with more difficult pull rates. Now moving on to the final spot, it is the Bulbasaur and the Squirtle illustration rares from Stellar Crown. Yes, it is early days, though there's not much bad that can be said about these two sensational cards. They are incredibly gorgeous and they already look as if they will be hot investments. One thing to understand as Pokemon fans, right, is that Generation 1 starters, they carry so much weight. Squirtle and Bulbasaur are loved by millions of collectors. They are so well known and they carry so much nostalgia for so many different generations. Now, not only that, but these cards are fantastic artworks and they both draw in some incredible designs and they really do a great job of showcasing the amazing personalities of these starter Pokemon. They are also connected to the Charmander promo from the Obsidian Flames ETB, which adds an awesome layer of additional features which collectors love. These two cards are destined for success from the get-go, and it really brings in questions relating to the success of some of the other cards from the Scarlet and Violet era. In fact, there are some really hot undervalued singles to look out for right now, and the exact cards to look out for right at this moment is packaged within this video on screen right here. Within this video, I look over the most undervalued Pokemon singles at the moment from the Scarlet and Violet era. If you're looking for more undervalued cards, then click this video on screen right now and you can see my top 10 list right there.